What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be fun. We are going to be talking about a combination of two of my favorite activities. One is, of course, reading. I love reading, as you all know. That's why we're all here, to talk about the fiction addiction and to not necessarily correct it, but rather enhance it by talking about all the amazing authors and books that are out there. But another passion that I grew up with since I was a child is board games. My family played a lot of board games when we were growing up. My dad was definitely an aficionado. And so I have definitely carried that into my adult life, and I have my own collection of board games now that I happily play with my husband and friends. And today I just thought, why not combine both interests and talk about board games that have to do with books or reading. That sounds interesting? Definitely stick around. It's reading time here at J-Bay's Corner. Before we dive into the video, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jaya, and on this little corner of the universe of the internet, we talk all things books. Typically, I put out videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and sometimes there's some sporadic randomness that also showcases itself in the videos, but I am so excited to have you guys here to talk all things books and games. For those of you that are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you could be here to join us. For those of you that are returning, I cannot thank the community enough for being here. I truly appreciate it. Before I move forward, I feel like we need to also take a moment to just appreciate my nail lady. Can you guys believe this? I told her I wanted a cat on my nails, and she did it. She built these little buttons and these cats from scratch, and it's just too cute, and I'm about to die. But my sister-in-law had said that she wanted the cat at the wedding reception, and I was like, there's no way I'm bringing Bella to a reception. But I was like, I will get cats on my fingers in honor of you. And so I had these nails done before the wedding reception, and it was just such a hit. It was so funny. And then on top of that, absolutely adore my nail lady for doing this. It literally took her 3 hours. Okay, now let's jump into the actual video. Let's talk about the portable games first, and then we'll get into the true board games, if you will. The first game that I wanted to talk about is a game called Fiction. Now, this game is very, very fun, and if you are an aficionado of the game Wordle, that initially came out as its own entity and now has been absorbed by New York Times, you will absolutely love this game. This is basically Wordle on steroids, and the idea of the game is that as you play this game, the main individual who is coming up with the word has a card that they're reading, which is a piece of a story from a classic, whether it be Moby Dick or Jane Austen, and it has highlighted words that are 5-letter words. As the main person, you have to pick the 5-letter words that the other person is trying to guess. What makes this game a little bit more interesting, though, is that you can choose to lie about one of the letters. So when the other person is trying to guess the letters, you have to either say it is correct, it is neutral, it is in the wrong, meaning it's in the wrong spot. So it's correct and it's in the right spot, it's on the board and it is part of the word, but it's in the wrong spot, or it's not in the word at all. Now, once per turn, you can choose to lie, and you don't have to reveal if you've lied or not. So the person who is guessing may have a harder time than they think trying to figure out what the correct word is. Let's talk about the components of the game. So within the game, you actually end up receiving these boards, which is where you're going to be writing your letters, and you're tracking whether or not your answer is correct or not through these little divots here. So in these divots, you would put these coins, like you have the check mark for the correct answers, X's for the absolute incorrect, and gold for the ones that are in the wrong spot. Depending on how quickly you answer the word or find the word out, you win for the turn. As you can see, these are our literature cards. So we have storylines from Moby Dick, we have Great Gatsby in here, we have Pride and Prejudice, Treasure Island, A Christmas Carol. So basically, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, a bunch of books that are popular to literature. Now, when you pick up Little Women, for example, when you pick up a card, this is what you're seeing on the front side of the card. All of the words that are highlighted, you can use, except for the red ones. The red ones are basically words that have the same letter repeated twice, and the yellow are the ones that are fully 5-fledged words. So worst, ours, dotes. Words you wouldn't be able to use are words like dryly, dwell, fussy, never, because those use 2 of the same letter. Now, in this game, they don't typically allow for you to use words that have repeated letters only because it's already hard enough for the person to guess what the correct letters are, since you can lie per turn. So you are only allowed to use words that have 5 fully different letters in them. But Fiction as a whole is just a great fun game, and it's easy to play with multiple people. It's easy to travel with. It can literally pop into a handbag if you needed it to. Nice, tiny, compact, great word and literature-based game. The next game I want to talk about is Love Letters. Now, Love Letters is not truly literature, but at the same time, the point of the game is you are basically receiving love letters and you are trying to, I will read it to you. In the wake of the arrest of the Queen Mariana for high treason, none was more heartbroken than her daughter, Princess Annette. Suitors throughout the city, state of Tempest, sought to ease Annette's sorrow by courting her to bring some joy into her life. You are one of these suitors, trying to get your love letter to the princess. Unfortunately, she has locked herself in the palace, so you must rely on intermediaries to carry your message. During the game, you hold one secret card in your hand. This is who currently carries your message of love for the princess. Make sure the person closest to the princess holds your love letter at the end of the day so it reaches her first. So there are 16 cards in the game, 4 reference cards, and then there's tokens of affection. Now these tokens of affection basically are used to determine how quickly you are getting your letter to the princess and if you are getting your cards to the people who are closest to her. We also have various character cards within the game that play the role of carrying the letter to the princess. This, to me, feels like a romance game. It reminds me of Romantasy, and I also feel like it's easy to pack up and move around. And because it's mostly cards, reading, and rearranging the players on the board, it just feels like an open-ended story to me. So I personally like to consider this a book-themed game, but Love Letters is a great, easy game to carry around. And as you can see, it's even thinner than a deck of cards, so great to transport as well. Next up, in the transportable realm of games, I have In Dreams. So In Dreams is basically a deck of cards where you are weaving the storyline yourself. I'll read the back to you. In Dreams is a slightly surreal solo storytelling game. The core deck provides card-based journaling prompts and vivid imagery and evocative text. Each prompt card has 4 prompts and a location on the back. Each event card has 3 events, modified by 6 possible tones. The cards chain together in interesting and unique ways to create millions of potential situations to fuel your dreams. The dreamscape is fluid and surreal. Close your eyes and let the dream carry you through worlds you've never imagined. So there's 36 prompt cards in total, and then other cards that you're also playing as well. As you can see, this is an event card. You have 3 different events. Look at the beauty of this deck, right? It's absolutely gorgeous. Then you also have, of course, outside of just the event cards, I'm trying to find our prompt cards, guys. Give me just a second here as I'm going through the deck. So again, here's a prompt card. So you have the word narrow, then you have narrow-minded, narrow path, narrow gate, narrow escape, and you can kind of figure out what is narrow. I absolutely love the idea of this game. I love the fact that you can play it by yourself. I love the fact that you can play it with other people. I absolutely love the artwork in the game. And again, it's a single deck of cards. So it's easy to transport, easy to take around, and honestly, just such a beautiful game. I personally feel like this is one that everyone should have in their collection. If you're ever looking for something to keep you entertained, then you don't want to tell or read a story in the classic way of reading a book, but rather you want to enjoy it by participating in the storytelling yourself. Up next, we have the Agatha Christie game. This is obviously definitely book related and definitely inspired and based on the Agatha Christie favorite characters, Hercule Poirot, and the cacophony of characters that he deals with. In this game, you are basically trying to figure out who is the murderer. It's usually better to play with multiple people, but basically you are trying to rule out who committed the murder by collecting clues that other characters might have. You have death on the cards as the background of the game. Within it, you have secrets that a character may have collected that you need to find a way to collect in order to be able to resolve the mystery. Outside of the secret cards, you also have, like for example, the secret card might say that you're the accomplice, but people won't know that unless they're able to resolve that secret from you. You also have event cards on here, so you can point your suspicions at people and try to figure out what's going on. You also have the how to play cards, of course, which are included in the game, where basically the order of the game is you're going to play an event card, then you can either choose to play an event card or play one set of detective cards. Add one detective card to an existing set of detective cards. The detective cards are basically what allow you to find secrets and then find information based on it. You also have instant cards, you have devious cards that you can play throughout the game to basically spice up the movement in the game. You also have cards that kind of are problematic, such as your murderer ends up escaping. In case of that happening, that means the person who is actually holding the card saying they are the murderer has gotten away. By basically playing these cards and using your detective cards to basically figure out clues as to who is hiding what and collecting secrets, your job as the detective is to unmask who is the murderer, even if in some instances it may be you. So I think this game is so much fun, and I think they've done a great job with this game. I do think it's more fun with multiple people, but once again, very transportable, very small, very skinny box. And it's just a simple card game, so you don't need too much table space either. Moving into the next slightly larger box but small game, it is Exit. Now there's multiple different types of Exit games that exist, but the idea of Exit is you're basically combining storytelling with escape room. You and whomever else you want to play with, or if you want to do it individually, is solving the puzzle by taking the pieces provided in the box to rip, tear, mark up things to basically figure out the whodunit at the end of the mystery. The only problem with the Exit game is that once it's been played, it cannot be played again because you are physically manipulating the game pieces, you are tearing them, you are ripping them, you are marking them in order to find the clues that help you solve the mystery. This is a game that is best played when you are bored out of your mind and you want to spend a solid hour playing a game, or it's great in a group setting if you guys want to enjoy the event of an escape room without having to go into an escape room yourself, while also enjoying a beautiful story along with the game. So overall, just a fun, quirky way of enjoying the story. Here is this one's topic, Theft on the Mississippi. It's 1872 and you are traveling down the Mississippi on a paddle-wheeled steamboat en route to New Orleans to solve a case. But then a robbery happens right on board the boat. A successful businessman was carrying documents of inestimable value and they have now disappeared. Are you ready to solve the theft? Great game, fun vibes. I definitely recommend. I have not played this one yet. There are also different levels on the various boxes. These games can be found at a lot of local stores. It can also be found on Amazon. They can also be found at some places like Target and definitely places like Barnes and Nobles. So I would definitely recommend looking in the game section of your favorite local bookstore for such awesome book-themed games. The next game I have to show is called Fire in the Library. Now this game is a fun little quirky game where basically you and your partners are trying to figure out how to take out the fire within the game. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain this. So basically, you have turn cards that basically determine like which direction you're going to move in. You also have tokens that move this fire forward, or event cards that move the fire forward. And then you have your bravery points and your risky spaces that basically allow you to help try to put out the fire, as well as saving books in the library so that they don't burn. You have tool cards such as timing tokens and water pails and things like that. But essentially, the vibes of the game is you are trying to resolve the fire before it burns everything. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can play it as a solo version. You can also play it as a group game, which makes it really fun. And overall, it's just an entertaining game. And it's cute because you're basically trying to put out the library fire. So in the game, you get your little pouch that has the ability to hold all of your fire tokens and your tool tokens. You have your little meeples for moving around. And then you have your deck of cards, which basically ends up becoming the board as the fire is spreading. Cute, fun, easy game to play. Easy game to learn, and I would definitely say for the library aficionado or for anyone who is a book lover, a great game to have as you're basically trying to avoid Fahrenheit 451 and save the books before they burn. next up, I'm not going to talk too much about this because it was in another video, but Strix is actually a game that was created and designed by EasyCat in cooperation with Owlcrate, and it is absolutely incredible. Basically, the Library of the Gods is now open to attack by the various monsters that are trying to gain knowledge power because of the crazy owl that's caused everything to go wrong, Strix. Your job is basically to find order in the library and defeat Strix before the wrong people get access to knowledge everywhere. The other thing I love about this game is that it was literally designed as a book, and it has like the vibes of painted edges on a book, which is just so cool. It opens up like a book as well, and then you have all your pieces inside. Now, full disclosure, I have not yet played this game. Most of the cards and everything are still in their original packaging, but the game itself is just absolutely gorgeous. You have various cards for your different gods and for the different monsters in the game. You have your bonus card, which is just a really fun, shiny card. You have the monster power card, the cheat sheets for the gods and the monsters. And then you actually have the playing cards as well as the events are taking place. You have this beautiful version of Strix himself, who is the problematic bird child, if you will. And then you have these beautiful, beautiful coins, which are real metal, and they're just absolutely stunning in design. I love how beautiful these are. And yeah, I'm super excited to eventually try this game by EasyCat. It's been a really, really crazy set of months for us lately as a family. We just had a lot of weddings in the family, so we haven't had a chance to really host or do a game night. But I'm definitely very excited to play this. This is a 2 to 6 player game, and it says it takes about 30 minutes, and it's considered a hidden role deduction game, but just felt so apropos for this video since it still revolves around knowledge and books and Greek mythology as a whole. We are now finally moving into the true board games of the evening, if you will. The first one that I wanted to show you guys is Harry Potter. This is probably one of the favorite games of me and my husband on date night when we just want to sit at home, put Harry Potter on in the background, and then play the game. This game is a longer game. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to play. The board is amazing. It is basically a map of Hogwarts. No, that's not true. It's not really a map of Hogwarts. It's just a really large classic board game, but you have the ability to either go to the library, go to the professor's office, to the various classrooms, or the unknown locations that open up as you progress through years 1 to 7. The goal of the game is to basically win your house, the House Cup, by accumulating the most points. You have characters from each of the different houses on your board that you are playing as, and your goal is to help the students gain education and knowledge so that they are representing their house in the best way possible. And then the more power of knowledge they have, the more spells they can cast, the more curses they can defeat, the more challenges they are able to handle, thereby gaining more and more points for their house. You track your houses in the cutest way. You actually have little pebbles that go into the hourglasses that they provide you. And these are actually held within this beautiful, everything is connected, this beautiful little case. And you can actually see the coins dropping in. Very, very similar to the actual way it's done in the movie. It's just really cute. This game is really well thought out. It's a lot of fun. You have to gain knowledge and magic in order to defeat things. You have some really cool other locations too. Like this one is Godric's Hollow. You also have in here Honeydukes, for example. So all places that are very much from the original Harry Potter movies and books, and you basically play through as your favorite house characters as you're basically trying to survive your life as a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Great game. So much fun. Absolutely love this one. I will say you can play up to 4 people as there are 4 houses, but again, the game takes time and it takes time to think through your turns. So I will say this is better played as a dual player game, but great game nonetheless, and would definitely recommend Harry Potter House Cup Competition. I have a few newer games with me as well that I have yet to actually play through, but I've heard amazing things about, and I was like, I must have this game in my life. The first one that I want to share with you guys, it's called My Shelfie. This game is so cute. You just bought a new bookshelf, and your job is to assemble the various items on your bookshelf in the best way possible to accumulate as much points as you can. This game kind of reminded me a little bit of Codenames, which is why I ended up picking it up. But instead of giving clues to one another, you're basically trying to solve goals and puzzles so that you can build up your bookshelf. Now, the thing about this is even though you can collect multiple tiles in a turn and you can put them into your shelf, there is an order to which the tiles must be placed, and you cannot place tiles in multiple columns at once. They can only be placed in one column at a time, which makes it more difficult to play. You also have your own personal goals to fulfill, as well as goals that are common to everybody that help you accumulate points as the game progresses. It's just, and you have a little living room that you are placing all your tiles on and collecting your pieces from. They must be in adjacent corners, and then you're filling it into your bookshelf. So the actual pieces of this game are so cute. You have a little bookshelf that you basically are attaching to your stand. So wait, this way. There we go. That makes more sense. So you have your little bookshelf that you're putting into your stand, and then you have your little goal cards that you are facing. I'm not going to pull the board itself out because you kind of got to see that already. And then here are like some of the tokens that you can put in your bookshelf. So let's look at them. The first one is a cat, because who doesn't want a cat on their bookshelf? That too, a black cat, like 100%. That's so me. You have little picture frames that you might want to put on there. And then of course you have classic books that you may want to have on your bookshelf. So based on the goals that you have and the goals that are for everyone to fulfill, you want to fill your shelf the best way possible in order to have the most aesthetically pleasing but also most fulfilling bookshelf in the game. Tell me that doesn't sound adorable. I am so excited to play this. This is a fast game. This is like a 25-minute game. This is what I would call a feel-good game. Great way to end the night. A little bit chaotic, a little bit fun. It's 2 to 4 players because you obviously have limited amount of space in terms of the boards that are given to you, but super, super cute, and it's very easy to understand. You're basically picking items from the living room. You're going to put them on your shelf. You're going to follow your own personal goal, which kind of looks like the card I was talking about that may be on a Codenames card, which is where I was referring to Codenames, because you have a certain map in the way that you want your pieces to fall. And then you have the common goals that you're trying to successfully complete as well in order to gather the most points for yourself. So I love the idea of My Shelf. I think it's a super cute game, and I can't wait to dig my teeth into it. Next up, I have the Jane Austen board game. Please, 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 let's take a moment to see how cute this is. You basically get to play as one of the Jane Austen main characters. So you're playing as Emma. You might be playing as not Darcy, sorry. You might be playing as Elizabeth. And so basically they're characters from the different books that she's written. This is your board. How beautiful is this board? Basically, your character is going to be going across to multiple areas of this board in order to gain favor in multiple different ways. So your points can be collected through attributes that you're developing. It can be through special trade abilities that you gain that make you make you better at what you do. And the basic goal of this game is you're either choosing to marry a suitor or you're trying to become a woman of independent mind. If you choose the marriage route, you should aim to collect 1 or more suitor cards during the game. At the end of the game, you will marry one of the suitors you have collected and gain their marriage points, but you won't get to choose which, so be careful who you court or you may end up marrying a low-scoring suitor. In order to gain a suitor's marriage points, you must have enough attribute tokens to win their affections. If you don't meet their attribute requirements, your match will end in heartbreak and points will be deducted from your final score. If you choose the woman of independent mind route, you will need to end the game with no suitor cards in your playing deck. You should instead aim to trade your attribute tokens for victory point tokens by visiting the Improve Your Mind location on the game board. If you have gained 10 or more victory points by the time the game ends, you will be awarded 20 Women of Independent Mind points to add to your final score. So again, there's multiple different places that you can go on this board in order to do this. So you have the, Also, let's take a moment to appreciate the back of this board. So pretty. Looks like a book cover. Ow, I just poked myself in the nose, guys. So you have different places that you can go. So you can go to dinner, where you might be able to woo a suitor. You can also go to improve your mind to this location, which is obviously where you're going to continue collecting the Woman of Independent Mind tokens from. You might want to go call on one of your friends and maybe meet one of their siblings or their friends that would be a suitor for you. You might want to go on a date or an outing. And you might want to walk around town. You might end up meeting in the ballroom where everyone can meet for common goals. You also end up getting one of these character cards. So you can either be Elizabeth Bennet, you can be Emma Woodhouse, who's probably who I would be. There's just something about Clueless, you know what I mean? Eleanor Dashwood. You can be Fanny Price. You can be Anne Elliot, or you can be Catherine Morland. So again, all important female lead characters from the Jane Austen works herself. You have various tokens that you end up collecting throughout the course of the game in order to improve your either state of mind or your suitor abilities. These are the beautiful, beautiful tokens that you're moving around with when you choose to be one of these characters. And then you have multiple card decks in the game that basically get played into play that allow you to collect these suitors and things like that. So for example, you have an event card, which is a tedious outing. So maybe that date didn't go quite well. You have ill-advised theatrics, which is an event card. You have desperately lovesick, a secret engagement, long lost love, an incessant stream of diners, a terrible accident, so on and so forth. Then you also have starting cards in the game, and then you have your various suitor cards and things like that as well. But basically the goal of the game is to achieve one of those two goals and accumulate enough victory points so you end up with the person with the most victory points at the end. As you can see, based on the number of character cards we have, this is a 2 to 6 player game. The runtime for this game is about 40 minutes to an hour. So again, it moves pretty quick and it's great for date night, especially if you're in the mood to host a game night that might be book themed and maybe just slightly pretentious in the best way possible with a little bit of that Jane Austen deliciousness. I see myself playing this game with my girlfriends who love to play board games on one of those days when the boys are just not allowed, where we have Bridgerton playing in the background and we have some high tea vibes going on, and we're just in the mood to dip our toes into the world of Jane Austen. Last but not least, I have to show you guys Paint the Roses. This is, of course, based on Alice in Wonderland. I decided to surprise my husband with this game. I don't know if he's going to feel surprised or not, but he always talks about how he wants nothing more than a Cheshire Cat in life. And what better way to give him a Cheshire Cat than a board game with a Cheshire Cat on it. So let's talk a little bit about this game. The vibes of the game is you're basically the gardeners at the Queen's Garden, and you're trying to accomplish painting her roses in the way that they need to be painted so that your head does not get cut off. Now, the only catch to this game is you cannot speak to each other. So you must figure out how to plant these beautiful roses in such a way that the Queen doesn't end up beheading you, but you also know the pattern in which they need to be planted. So let's talk a little bit about the game pieces. You have this amazing board here where you actually have your garden and your tile pieces go into for building the hedges. Then we have our little hedge marker as well that shows what level you guys are building at and what tokens are available to you is my understanding with this. And then you have the little, of course, additional roses and whatnot that you are actively painting. You have various event cards and goal cards that are in place that are being played. And then you have the little design cards of what your goal is to achieve. In terms of your placement order and how everything looks, there's also ways to track it. You also have hard level, medium level, and easy level, and you get different cards for those as well. It also comes with these 4 keys, which I don't fully know what they're for yet. As I mentioned, I haven't actually played through this game, but I've heard amazing, amazing things about it. This is also the deluxe version that comes with like the cute little pieces, but I love the fact that this has the little queen sitting like the flower. This is, I believe this is our queen with her axe in her hand, ready to chop your head off. And then we have the rabbit, who is, of course, late, late, late. Look at some of these cards. Like, look at that beautiful Cheshire Cat. you have Cheshire Cat objectives, okay, in this game. Like, my husband can't even complain. Like, he cannot complain. This looks so fun. You also have Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Basically, the game is 100% embracing characters from the world of Alice in Wonderland, and you are just a gardener trying to save his neck. If that doesn't sound cute, I don't know what does. I am so excited to play this game finally and learn more about it. The rules also don't look like they're too crazy. It looks like it's pretty straightforward to learn and understand. Let's also see if it has a proper goal. Here you go. Would you tell me, said Alice a little timidly, why you were painting those roses? Why, the fact is, you see, miss, here ought to have been a red rose tree, and we put a pink one in by mistake. And if the queen was to find it out, we should all have our heads cut off, you know. At this moment, one of the gardeners, who had been anxiously looking across the garden, called out, "The queen, the queen!" And the 3 gardeners instantly threw themselves flat upon their faces. There was a sound of many footsteps, and Alice looked round, eager to see the queen. "I see," said the queen, who had meanwhile been examining the roses. "Off with their heads!" And the procession moved on, 3 of the soldiers remaining behind to execute the unfortunate gardeners. Alice Adventure in Wonderland. Chapter 8, The Queen's Croquet Ground. So within the game, you have your various gardeners, you have the Queen of Hearts, you have the 4 flower tokens, you have the White Rabbit, and the whim cards. Every player will have a hidden whim card. They show how the queen would like the shrubs to be planted and how many spaces the players can move on the score track when correctly guessed. There are 20 easy cards, 40 medium cards, and 72 hard cards. There are 30 clue tokens per player, 3 notepads, and 1 royal log. You also have 32 shrub tiles, 1 garden board, 1 gardening bag, and 1 greenhouse. On each turn, a shrub will be taken from the greenhouse and planted in an unoccupied space in the garden. So as you can see, you are just trying to save your head and create a beautiful garden for the sake of the queen in this most wonderful adaptation of Paint the Roses in honor of Alice in Wonderland. And that does bring me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed checking out this other hobby of mine with me, talking about all things books combined with a fun date night or a game night with you and your friends, or you and your partner, or you and your roommate, or you even by yourself. I think there's so many different ways to explore reading, and so when I found out that there were games dedicated to themes that have been brought about by some of our favorite books, or maybe inspire reading as part of the game itself, I just had to share them here on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment below if you're interested in seeing more content in the realm of board games. I'm happy to provide that. I also love listening and reading your comments and responding to them, so please do consider leaving me a comment below and telling me what you felt about this content. For those of you that are new here, thank you again for being here. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking the time to choose this video, to watch this video, to be a part of this community at this moment. If you would like to continue being a part of our community, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. I would love to see you back in the future for a book-themed video on Sundays or Wednesdays, no Mondays, Sundays or Wednesdays. For those of you that are returning, thank you so much for being here. It means the absolute world to me. I cannot thank you enough for your support, your love, your encouragement, you guys taking the time to watch these videos, comment with me, spend time with me, and let's talk all things books continuously. And that being said, I want to leave everybody with this. I hope wherever you are in the world that you're getting plenty of time to rest, relax, read, that you're feeling safe, supported, and loved, and that in this crazy world that we're living in now, where everything is influxing in price and crazy things are happening in the world, that you at least find a little bit of solace and some me time. I will catch you guys on the next video. Wishing everyone the best. Peace and love, guys.